Jackson Radio Show.
It's fascinating to look at the possible landscape for this, Zach. When you go through people, Nate Silver, Sosnick also saying that they can easily see, for all of the grief that has been thrown at this president, they can easily see a scenario where he could win again.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I think that's especially true, given that we know that the Russians are once again engaged in the campaign.
So you think it will be the Russians? If he wins again, it'll just be because it's those Russians involved again?
I think that the Russians played a significant role in electing him in 2016, and they're going to play a significant role in his campaign in 2020, which is why I think that Brad Parscale is such an interesting choice for this. I mean, he put together a digital campaign that was copied by the Russians. I mean, they did basically the exact same thing. They went in and targeted the same battleground states. They went in and targeted to suppress minority voters. They ran an ad campaign that reached 126 million Americans. It was a huge multi-million-dollar operation.
So it was exactly what you do in politics. Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's Kevin Jackson Show. 844-551-8255. That guy's name is Zach Petkanis. I debated him on Harris Faulkner's show that comes on. It used to be outnumbered afterwards or whatever. But anyway, they made it Harris's show. And I debated him one time when I was in New York. And he's a nice guy. But, I mean, just crazy. But here's the deal. I'm actually going to try to debate him once a week. And I may even try to tour and debate him. Because I can't find many people that are willing to debate me. This guy, he's crazy. You know what's funny? As you listen to that, and earlier we played a soundbite from Luis Gutierrez. Sorry, I'm having trouble catching my breath. And it was like you listen to these guys and Trump is anti-immigration. He does not like Mexicans. He does not like this. And you go, and everything you just said is easily provable as a lie. That's how desperate it's become. The Democrats, that is. The Democrats are so used to saying something over and over and over and over and over, and they say it 100 times, and finally it starts to resonate, and it's never resonating. They've been calling Trump a racist now for the better part of 2 years. It isn't resonating. The judge who Trump and he had the run-in, he gave Trump the wall. So Democrats, they don't get it. They're like, this usually works. What's going on here? Who stole the funk? A friend of mine wrote a play once about a white dude who stole the funk from James Brown. And the white dude was going around the universe, hey! And James Brown was all, I can't find it, y'all. Somebody stole it. The Democrats can't get anything to stick. They can't get their base riled up over anything. You want to know why? Their base is too doggone happy. So you got the 2020 election, and I touched on it earlier. And I'm going to go back to it because Trump just made an announcement about who is going to be running his campaign. He's made another superstar. But this guy, Zach Petkanis, wants us to believe that in 2020, Trump will win again, but it'll be because of Russian interference. In case you haven't figured it out, the Democrats are never going to give up on the Russians until we have people in prison that were part of the Obama administration who colluded with the FBI, the Clinton campaign, the DNC, fake Russians, the Podesta Group, and a host of other people. Until those people are in jail, nobody's going to drop the Russian investigation. Those are the talking points. Stick to it. Even these crazy, indicting 13 Russians, all these changes going on at Twitter and Facebook about Russian bots. I had a guy send me a message, F you, Russian bot website, blah, blah, blah. And I wrote a message back and said, hey, bonehead, this is a human site here. I don't know what you're doing. Then he writes me back and goes, oh, sorry, Kevin, I was getting all this Russian stuff. And I said, look, dude, that is nonsense. The idea that Russians are writing to us and trying to get us to do something to change our minds, that is not going to happen on a conservative, not anywhere in the United States. We know what we stand for. So if you buy into the Russian hoax, then they're winning. It is a hoax. It is not legit. There are no Russian bots. And by the way, everything that Zach described, well, they targeted black people for voter suppression. What that means, translated in from Democrat, stupidese into regular talk, is they went after the same demographic we did, and therefore them going after it makes it, targeting and trying to suppress the voters because they're telling them the truth. But when we do it and we lie, meaning the Democrats, when they do it and they lie, well, that's just us talking to our base. They're spending lots of money in battleground states versus what? Spending money in red states? What do you think the Democrats did? Did they spend lots of money in California or lots of money in Massachusetts? Of course not. They got those locked down. They spent money in Florida, Michigan, Pennsylvania, South Carolina. And for the record, all those states should be blood red. Blood red. Here's what I can tell you. If you want to do a little thought exercise, take the big cities out of every state. You don't even have to take two. Like, for example, in Texas, you don't have to take Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, or Austin. Just take Houston or take Dallas out. If you're in Ohio, you don't need Cleveland and Toledo or Cleveland and Cincinnati. Just take Cincinnati. If you're in Illinois, take out Chicago. And if Chicago's too big, you could get away with two smaller ones, say like Springfield or what's right on the outskirts, Rockville, something like that. Probably not that, but certainly Springfield, the what they call it, the center, the heart of Chicago, capital. Take it out of Illinois, I should say. You're in New York, take out New York City. Oh, you don't want New York City? Okay, take out Rochester and one other. Anywhere there's a big college and university and anywhere close to the popular. I mean, obviously New York's a big city, but you get what I'm saying, right? Take them out. You take those out. We are the reddest place on the planet. And by the way, the safest place on the planet. Take them out. But what do? We concede the cities. We don't even fight for them. We don't run candidates. We don't run opposition research. We do nothing. We concede the cities. We're looking into a project right now that's going to go after academia. Biggest project we've launched in my entire career that's going after academia. And I'm telling you, it's going to be eye-opening what you learn about all these different folks, all these different institutions and systems that are in place to stop you. So, Zach, he can come on here and talk about what the Republicans are doing. What does he think it's going to do? We are doing exactly what the left does. And the only thing is, President Trump does it better. He tapped Brad Parscale, the towering bearded political consultant described as a genius by the Washington Post, who's going to lead his 2020 re-election bid as a campaign manager. I started this story earlier and didn't finish because I went into what Trump had done to make sure that no matter what they say about him at election time, while the Democrats are still jockeying over who they want to be their candidate, Donald Trump will be getting equal time all across the board. He's got this guy already in 2018 looking ahead for the digital strategy and what he's going to do. And let me tell you, all Zach has to do is manage the back end. Donald Trump will manage Twitter. He will talk about his record. Because the media is not going to say anything about it. And he's just going to rely on us to help him. He's got it all. Remember when Barack Obama in 2012, when the race was up for 2012, he had a track record and it stunk. First 4 years of Obama were horrible. He'd increased the debt by well over $5 trillion. Unemployment was through the roof. Consumer confidence down. I think we'd lost our credit rating. It had gone down. We had the welfare rolls expanding, by millions. You couldn't bring jobs back. His foreign policy was a disaster of monumental proportions. He had scandal after scandal that he now says there weren't scandals. We had the VA. We had Benghazi by this time, right? We had the IRS scandal that had already been developing, because that was the reason they were pressuring the conservatives, was we were putting too much pressure on them to not get Obama elected in 2012. So he sanctioned the IRS. He weaponized them against us. They were shutting down the media, on and on, scandal after scandal, even threatening to put journalists in jail. Fast and Furious. And he says everything was good. He had a good administration during that time. But now Donald Trump's got a stud, Pascal, top digital operations guru, back on the job.
Kevin Jackson
on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.